Hey, this is Matt from Unschooling Emily, and I'm going to answer a comment that was left on the channel. I think this is just a fantastic question and topic of conversation and great thing to discuss today. It says, "Hi, I'm Jason, and I'm a 16-year-old who is currently researching unschooling. I'm on a quest to find the best educational paradigm. So far, I've pretty much established that unschooling is the best of all the other methods, but I'm in the process of narrowing it down even further. I've watched a few of your videos and they catch and hold my interest. I'm asking if you'll be willing to help me on my quest by answering some questions. After I finish watching all your videos so far, of course. Thanks for making videos and sharing your ideas and experiences with the world. You have one more subscriber." So anyway, I'm eager to see what Jason's questions are. Of course, Jason, I'm more than eager to answer your questions. Um, but obviously, there are different ways of looking at unschooling. Some people look at unschooling as, school is a waste of time. It sort of programs people into one limited, narrow way of thinking. It's all geared up just to get credentials. Why bother? And then, kids come home and they may spend a lot of time goofing around, watching TV and just doing other things, which they get programmed with a whole other set of beliefs, and they get programmed with a whole different system. So it's not necessarily better. I think of being able to help someone to go after their passions and actively pursue it and cultivate their greatest skills and abilities and passions and knowledge in whatever area they may be interested in. So, for example, if someone just had a natural love of, say, cooking, and they wanted to learn as much about it as possible. So you're 16 years old, maybe you're really interested in cooking. There's just so many different ways to explore that and learn about it in such an expedited fashion that by the time you're the age of a typical graduate from culinary school, you could be running some of the best kitchens in the world, and already be a very well-respected authority in the field. From age 16 to let's say 23, you have 7 years. 7 years is enough time to develop incredible mastery and to accumulate just an amazing amount of knowledge. In the last 6 years or so, I've read over 300 books on the area of, the field that I'm interested in, which is health and nutrition. Before that, I was in the culinary industry, and I never went to culinary school. I didn't do anything like that. I really liked it, so I went and worked at all these different restaurants. If I wanted to learn Italian cooking, I would go work in an Italian restaurant, and within 6 months, I would have mastery of certain things. So I could actually go, even if I was learning at the same pace as somebody in culinary school, I'm still actually getting paid to do it and having a lot of fun doing it and learning it in the most practical sense. I'm actually learning in the format in which, you bring Italian cooking or whatever into the public in business format. So anyway, if somebody's interested in cooking, let's say, the first step is to really buy as much or borrow from the library. If you're living in the United States, we have interlibrary loan. You can basically obtain anything that's ever been published, with a few exceptions. Some things are really hard to track down, but basically anything that's been published on any subject. And it doesn't have to be at your local library. It can be in any library basically in the country, and they will forward it to your local library free of charge. So you can get a great primer on, get some basic textbooks that maybe they're using in culinary schools across the country. In addition to that, maybe you want to specialize in pastry, or at the moment you're the most interested in Italian food or something like that. Well, you can explore that, and usually you'll be interested in something for a while, and then something else will catch your attention. And as long as you have the freedom to explore it piece by piece with whatever you're most interested in at that moment, then you can continue to learn at that accelerated rate, which occurs when you are actually being led by your own curiosity when you're pursuing things and learning about them. But that's an important first step, because that way you can sort of lay the foundation. You can build a base understanding of certain things. Secondly, obviously, you want to start doing it practically. So you want to be spending time cooking food at home, making a meal or two a day, doing a lot of experiments. Sometimes you're limited because you don't have all the equipment that maybe they have in a professional kitchen to make certain things. But you can always, build that. And, maybe the cooking thing wasn't the best example because there's a lot of different equipment that comes along with it. But not only is it important for you to learn it and accumulate a lot of knowledge, not only is it important for you to actually do it and build your skills along with it, but it's also really important I think, for people to take it a step further, which is to then, in turn, after taking it in and processing the information, learning the skills, to then turn around and actually demonstrate or communicate to other people about it. To me, this really is what separates just taking in some information and actually solidifying it to an extent where you can communicate about it. Because that's when the information becomes really fully integrated at that point. And your thoughts become much more concrete. Thoughts that stay and remain in the brain that aren't put down on paper or not put into a video or not communicated somehow, usually never congeal to the same extent that something that you actually communicate verbally. So that's one of the reasons why I do videos, even though I'm sort of new to the idea of unschooling. Well, at least new to actually thinking about it as something. Whereas in the past, it was just something I automatically did. If I was interested in something, I followed it. And so, I have experience, but I didn't really think of what I was doing as unschooling. I didn't attach a word or name or philosophy or an ideology to what I was doing. But anyway, that's one way about going about doing it. But I recommend anybody, if you start to pursue something and you really go after it, putting it on paper by setting up a blog or website, or setting up a YouTube channel and starting to do videos about it. It's great because not only are you forced to communicate about it, but at the same time you actually draw in people who are interested in what you're doing, which is very, very valuable, because the discussion is a very key element. A discussion is almost one step beyond communication, because now you have other people with other ideas, and you get to pool all these great ideas, these collective, everybody gets to share their collective understanding on a certain topic or issue, and you get to come across other people's ideas that challenge your own. Maybe they're right, you get to think about it, or you get to defend how you believe about certain things, which is another key step in solidifying your knowledge and understanding and expertise. So anyway, if you do that year after year after year and you keep building on it, it really doesn't take very long to become truly one of the world's leading authorities in whatever, field, topic, or whatever it is that you're doing. I mean, it just really doesn't take that long. Like I said, if you're studying cooking and you do it actively and you spend 4, 5, 6 hours a day actively engrossed in whatever is interesting to you in that field for 7 years, you're going to be light years ahead of anybody that's graduating from culinary school, and your base understanding will be much greater than even the people who have been doing this for 20, 25 years. That may sound ridiculous, but I've worked in the culinary industry before, and I'm telling you that the vast majority of the people that work in that industry, their knowledge level is very low because they just learned the base curriculum, and they learned the base curriculum to be able to pass the test, and they just sort of packed that away into their short-term memory, and then it sort of faded away. I worked at some of the nicest restaurants in entire towns before, and the chef had no idea that a truffle was a mushroom, thought it was a tuber. I've talked about that in the past and to other people, and just really basic things that are really silly. So anyway, if you spend a lot of time, you can achieve really, really great things. I'm very eager to hear your questions. Please share them with me, and I'll keep pumping out some videos, sharing my answers with you and anybody else who might be interested in what the answer to your questions may be. Anyway, I'll catch you in a video soon. Later, this is Matt from Unschooling Emily.